fire to all. We have discussed that the Earth turns counterclockwise and that we live in negative coordinate system. We have learned that souls that are born on Earth match its vibrational background. That is, they have approximately the same amount of negative charges as the Earth. That is, the balance of negative and positive corresponds with the vibrations on which our planet lives. So, we have discussed these things. And we already know the laws. We have only 3 rules. I will talk about them all the time. Plus always gravitates to plus. Minus gravitates to minus. Plus and minus repel one another. Basing on these rules, we can understand that torsion fields are controlled by our thoughts, by the information. We have mentioned this too, but I repeat it on purpose, so that you knew what we will talk about right now. And the subject of our today's conversation is this: why it is right now? Right now, in the moment of transition of the Earth onto different levels of vibrations, into different dimensions, say from the 3rd dimension into 4th, 5th, 6th. Somebody says we live in the 4th dimension already. It doesn't matter which dimension exactly we live in now. It is more important that now we will go through transition all together with the planet. And by now, a lot of people, really a lot of people, ask me one simple question, and I can understand why they ask it. Why, before, it was necessary to study a lot of different things, go a very long way of spiritual growth, which was really very long and difficult, and people spent more than one life on it, practicing some serious things like, say, Qigong, yoga, different breathing meditations, and so on and so forth. In other words, they were pursuing spiritual growth during a very long period of time. And not just during one life, but during a very long period of time in their several lives, when they were constantly growing spiritually. And now, here comes fire that just turns everything upside down. We are talking here about this, that it is the transforming fire which has come now. This fire lets us make the way of spiritual growth that people made during their many long lives on Earth in just 4 years. That is, it will take us only 4 years to make this way, the way of spiritual growth, that you could make for a very long time in the past. And people asked me this very simple and straightforward question: why do they, figuratively speaking, send pupils who study in the 1st grade directly into the high school? Why do they do it? Let me explain it. It is so because at present the time is shrinking, and we all can feel it is shrinking. And in the past we could do much more different things in the same amount of time. But now we can see that the day goes by too quickly, it is changing somehow, and something is changing with the space too. We often hear it from the mass media that something is happening, some processes are underway, that some scientists notice every now and then different variations of the new things that are going on Earth now.
В природе происходят какие-то явления.
Those who do energy practices understand that in the near-Earth sphere something is happening too, but nobody knows what it is exactly. And this something is that the Earth is going to expand now. It is getting ready for the expansion. It is just a preparation of the Earth so that it could do this transition. And in connection to this, in order to make this transition as soft as possible, here came the transforming fire. This fire is not just transforming, no. Fire is such a sophisticated, complex truth of the universe that it can show itself in different qualities. And fire carries all the possible qualities with it, because fire is the absence of duality. I mean, we are used to divide things into good or bad. We say that there are good things and bad things, like this is a good action and this one is bad, this person is bad and this one is good, so there is good and evil, and we constantly compare things and divide them into good or evil. But in fact, fire comes now to show us how we can live without this duality. It just wipes it off with a cloth. I liked it how somebody in our chat room said it about something else, but I think it is a great metaphor. Just to take this cloth and wipe off these borders between good and evil. Because in fact, the universe is extensional. It consists not only of light, it consists also of darkness. But the thing is that we need to understand this darkness, understand by what laws it lives, by what laws positive coordinate system lives, and by what laws negative. We have talked about the fact that negative coordinate system always shrinks. It always shrinks, and its emanations shrink too. All this envy, avarice, all this I want it for myself. And positive coordinate system always expands. It always expands, goes towards expansion. I mean, at present, we can see that now, here to the earth, there came fire. This fire will show itself during these 4 years as a transformation only. What is this transformation? It is very simple. In fact, we have discussed it in the previous video, because the soul, when it is born on earth, already has karma baggage of the planet, of the country, of the city, of the kindred, and karma of its own. So at least 5 karmas that are mixed together when the soul is born. So, in order to make this transition in the right way, the first necessary thing to do is to cleanse generic and personal karmas. So, by now, it is a transforming fire. Why? Because it will transform you. It will transform people of third, some say fourth, dimension.
ну, кто-то говорит, четвертого измерения,
into people of a different dimension,
измерения,
who will live on a different level of consciousness and who will have the access to all their possibilities.
иметь доступ,
And of course, they will be able to remember their past lives.
будет открыта память своих прошлых жизней.
They will have the chance to correct the mistakes of their past lives.
Но для того, чтобы
We have these 4 years to get ready for it.
раз-таки у нас есть
4 years.
года. 4
Later, I will tell you why 4.
тоже, почему
Each year will symbolize, well, a certain level of knowledge, let us put it this way.
знаний, да?
So, in the first year, we will do some things, in the second year, we will do some other things, and so on for 4 years.
Года это как,
These are like some kind of levels that we will have to accomplish.
которые мы должны будем с вами пройти.
On the very first level,
Итак,
there is fire.
огонь
Fire
именно,
will cleanse your karma.
он будет именно
It is a very important quality of fire,
вашу карму.
to cleanse karma.
Это очень важное такое его качество, то есть он будет чистить эту карму.
In further videos, I am going to tell you all this in detail.
Но сейчас мы,
And for now, we will briefly look at what exactly fire will do.
что именно будет делать этот огонь.
So,
Как мы уже разобрали,
fire can be of different types, including transforming fire.
и трансформация.
What will it transform? First, it will cleanse your karma through certain practices. I am drawing your attention to the fact that phantom practices are a step towards the fifth dimension.
Ступень в пятое измерение. Да?
So,
Вот,
it will cleanse karma to everyone.
получается,
It will transform the essences
очищать
that were given to a person when he or she was born,
тех сущностей, которые даны были при рождении.
and in 2 or 3 months after receiving of fire,
2-3
you will transform your essence into an angel. There is no doubt about that.
ангела. Это даже не обсуждается.
Some people will do it just within a fortnight.
Зависит от того,
It depends.
который вообще
A person who has never done any spiritual practices will manage to do it within 3 months. To transform any demonic essence into angel essence, any,
ангельс.
we will give all the practices, all the methods of how to do it.
Те методы, как это делается. Да?
So one more time,
Мы с вами
the first thing for us is to cleanse our karma,
а,
to transform our essences into angels,
да,
to learn how to work with phantom practices.
практиками.
There will be many different ones,
Их будет много различных.
and we will learn to tell the nature of our thoughts, depending on what essence a person has.
Отличать
Each essence, just like us people, has its own profession.
какая сущность у человека. У каждой сущности, как и у нас, у людей, есть своя профессия.
Each essence specializes in a certain type of emotions which a person emanates. Emotions of fear, envy, avarice,
Зависть, жадность.
anything like alcoholism,
Это все
smoking, drug addiction.
алкоголизм.
All this is the activity of one of the essences,
Определенного рода
and the more vices a person has,
это одно из
the more of these essences there are dwelling around this person.
существ, которые живут рядом с ним.
This is why
Вот.
we will work with transformation of all these vices,
И будем
all these sins,
всех,
as they were called before.
всех этих грехов, как раньше было определено это понятие.
Because of the fact that we, neither of us,
То есть
cannot waste another 25 years
странно, не только
or another life
еще 20
on one spiritual practice only,
жизнь кто-то занимался какой-то одной духовной практикой, каким-то одним направлением.
and the time has shrunk,
И
there comes transforming fire
на землю
in order to shorten
для того,
the way of a person
сократить
so that he or she
путь
could come to God, directly to God.
человека, чтобы он смог прийти к Богу напрямую.
We should cleanse ourselves, cleanse our thoughts,
Себя,
cleanse our karma,
свои мысли,
cleanse our bodies,
свою карту,
and then
очистить свой
this clean vessel
э,
will be forever inhabited by fire, by this energy of fire,
лицо.
which will shine.
Это энергия огня, которая будет сиять,
And you will become these fire generators
будет
who will distribute this fire, just emanating these positive and gracious emotions from the inside.
радостные эмоции.
But in order to do all of this, we will work intensively in this direction.
Нужно работать в этом направлении.
We will have various practices.
Различные практики,
I am now going to tell you everything about them in detail,
рассказывать о карме,
and I will tell you about karma,
различные
about different kinds of practices, about the things you need to do every day.
нужно делать каждый день.
You will not need much time for this, but if you do it every day,
Там тратить
the result will be astonishing.
на работе, результативность будет поражать. Вот.
So, at present,
Сегодняшний день
I will say it again,
просто больше нет.
we just don't have time
Ни
anymore.
у кого нет времени.
The time has shrunk.
Нет времени
Nobody has any time to waste it studying something.
на изучение
I mean studying only one thing.
чего-то одного.
Therefore, within these 4 years, we should, from the point where we are now, become people who are made after the image and likeness of God. We should control phantoms, control our thoughts, thought forms, thought images, so that our wishes materialized.
Все наши желания материализованы.
We should discover our mission. We should do a lot of gracious things that change not only our soul, but also the world where we all live.
В котором мы живем.
This is our aim. Fire to you all.